Justin.
We got another new album for the podcast. You caught me when I was alt-tabbed, you bastard.
Got him.
Magnolia Park have dropped their album VAMP.
This is the first Magnolia Park album we're talking about on the podcast. I feel like we were like casual fans of Magnolia Park for a while before we ever talked about them on here. But at least for me, this was my first ever full album that I've heard from Magnolia Park. I hadn't gone back to any of their older material prior to this album. I think I've heard a couple of their songs, but I hadn't listened to like any full release from them until this. And I enjoyed this front to back. I have every song saved, and it has grown on me a lot throughout the month.
I wasn't really following them all that much. I'd seen them a little bit, but when Shallow dropped, when Derek shared that, I kind of latched onto that like no other. And then they just started putting out really good stuff. Their Eye to Eye cover was phenomenal. I really liked The Void and Oblivion Eyes. Weird that they're not on this album. But what we got, I enjoyed. I think the album could be 2 or 3 songs shorter, and I think it'd be better for it. Because I think there's a lot of fluff.
How many songs are there right now? It's an
12,
11-song album. It's an 11-song album.
11?
I think give me a 10 or 9-track album, and I think it would be better.
Now, what songs would you cut in that case?
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't like Pain all that much.
Yep,
Cutting the
opener.
Cutting the opener is crazy. But yeah,
that and maybe the screams. Everything else.
I think I'm with you there.
Cut.
I would cut Pain. I think Pain's a fine opener, but it's not great. I don't love the screams. If I had to pick another one that I would cut, I would probably cut either Wasted or Crave towards the back end of the album. And Crave has a cool feature from Pink Noise.
I watched Derek's face just kind of hit several emotions.
I think part of the reason why I'm throwing Wasted into that category is because Omen is my favorite song on this album, and every time I would listen to Omen, Wasted would follow it, and I'm just like, man, Wasted is just not nearly as good as Omen.
See, I really like Omen. The problem is I like the first like 30 seconds of Omen. You can give me an entire song, which is that electronic bit, and I would fuck with it. I think once they kind of deviated from that in the album or the song, it kind of lost me.
Once they got heavier.
No, it's not even that. Like, I don't mind the heavy portion. It's just, I think that electronic portion is such it's not just good. It's like different than a lot of the other stuff on this album that I think it's such a good, like, fresh take. I think if it would have been a full song like that, I think it would have done better for me. But this Omen is really good. Ophelia's great. Shallow is still like the best song in general.
Yeah, Ophelia grew on me a lot after they played it live. Because I didn't love Ophelia as the closer. I thought it was very fine, but hearing it live, I think definitely changed my opinion. And not even in a way that like, wow, it was like a transcendent experience live or anything, but I think just getting to hear it live and feel the emotion in like a sold out crowd instead of just sitting by myself. There's something about experiencing it in that setting that kind of shifted my interpretation on the song, and it made me feel the emotion that Ophelia is trying to convey in a way that I wasn't feeling just listening to it on its own with my headphones. Just hearing that, where do we go when we die, and having the crowd chant it back. Yeah, it definitely drew on me a lot.
In talking about, and I can't even believe I'm the one saying this, but in talking about like, oh, like I'd cut this song or this song, I do want to highlight some positives on here, which is that I think that the instrumental and vocal performances are both really, really well done. I don't know the name of the vocalist. I had it earlier. I looked it up.
I want to say it's Josh.
Okay, we'll roll with Josh. Josh is the working name for the vocalist of Magnolia Park. I feel that, yeah, validate that, because he does an incredible job here. Okay, well, shout out Josh, because especially on songs like Shallow, Ophelia, I'm a little bit higher on it than you are, it sounds like, Jake, just from like a non-live perspective. I thought it was a great closer. I really, really love the vocal range, instrumentation and electronic elements, production. The drumming on here I thought was fantastic. The riffs are all great. The way that they weave in those electronic elements in between the riffs or among the riffs is fantastic. There are a ton of good ideas on here, like record scratches on Cult. There's the vocal effects on Shadow Talk, the electronics on Worship and Omen, the little kind of like rap intro on Shallow. It's its greatest strength and its greatest weakness. I have my gripes with the lyrics. I aired them out in the Discord earlier. I won't get on too much on my hater train. My point, more so than anything, is because I think there are so many good ideas here, it almost feels like it's all over the place. It's wasted on this album, in my opinion. I feel like this should have been 2 EPs when I listened to it, because apparently this is a concept album.
Yes.
And there's a story.
I have not pieced together what the concept is, but on Omen, it's one of the songs on the back half. I want to say it's Omen. It might be Reasons, but they mentioned this thing called the Nocturne Nexus.
Yes.
And I have no idea what the hell it like means in the context of the album, but there is definitely some sort of story being told here.
So the Nocturne Nexus, as far as I can tell, is either an item or like place held by a really like shadowy, like tyrannical organization, or the Nocturne Nexus is the organization. And
there's a story on it.
Yeah,
like a visual novel of that I just posted in our chat,
which I would be interested to read and then revisit, because how I felt after getting out of this album, because once we got to Omen and they were like initiating the Nocturne Nexus or whatever, I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? So I needed to go look into it, and finding out that this is a concept album blew me away in like a really bad way, because it feels like the lyrics on Pain, Shadow Talk, Cult, the screams are so like generic. We've heard the same thing, like about the demons in my head, and I'm fighting the monsters and they're dragging me 6 feet under. And then like his Shadow Talk, he's like, my shadow's telling me to kill you. Like what the hell? And it's all there. It feels like the first 4 songs in particular have absolutely fuck all to say. Any band in the world could have made those songs. Any metalcore band, any scene band. You could probably go to any scene band's discography early on. They got a song that talks about the same thing. It's like every 4 for 4 scene kind of archetype. So when you get to Omen and you're like, oh, well, by the way, there's this Architect Nexus, you're like, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, if you're doing a concept album, make it so there's a story to get invested into. I get
this
it.
This album could have really used like an interlude opener or something.
Anything to provide context, because you give me those first 4 songs in a vacuum and they could be about fucking anything. Like, it's so... And then you get Shallow. I don't know if he's attracted to the... I think
Shadow Talk, you can kind of see some of the story. Like, I can hear my shadow... Like, obviously, it's been said a million times from a million
but the lyrics
bands,
are corny, Jake. That's the problem. Like, it's... I don't know. If you're trying to create a concept album, there needs to be a story. And if there's going to be a story, it needs to be good. And it
also needs to be clear.
Yes, it's not clear. Because it's not clear, it's not good.
Yeah.
Which is a really, for me, rough stain on otherwise a fantastic kind of genre transition from Magnolia Park, having previously been much more focused on the pop punk side of things. The vocals sound fantastic. The production is incredible. The instrumentation is so solid. I'm just like, why? Like, you've got the shell of something good here. Why ruin it with 4 songs at the start that just sound like they were meant for radio and that's it? And like Shallow too, like, deserves all its flowers. Most played song on the album. I think it's their most popular, if not up there. It's so catchy. It's so well done. But like, is he trying to fuck the Vamp? Like, I don't understand what the thing is. Like,
I think just looking through everything. I don't know. I feel like the album is from the perspective of the character who I believe is a vampire. I don't know.
I guess that's.
I think the character is the woman that's on the album art.
Okay.
So I think a lot more context would be given in the visual novel that they're kind of referencing, and I don't know. I think that should have been something that was prefaced instead of having to like go into trying to find some sort of
they need that visualizer like Knock Loose did with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just when you get integral parts of this story or the concept album that get introduced halfway through, and then suddenly you're like, oh wait, I was supposed to be following a character. Like, what are these characters? Who are they? What do they play into the story? And it just keeps playing. And you're like kind of shell shocked almost. At least I was, because I'm like, well, where the hell did this come in? I just thought I was getting a generic album that sounds really good. I mean, lyrics aside, it does. It sounds fantastic. And so I don't know. I think that this is a step in the right direction. If Magnolia Park want to take this route, I think they executed it sonically and musically very well. As a concept album, fair play. I will go read the visual novel and I will publicly retract everything if it suddenly makes sense. But to me, I've heard a lot of concept albums done right. You know, I think back to Knocked Loose kind of last year, and then I hear this and I'm like, okay, the bones are there, but the body is not, and I'm feeling a little let down by it, despite the strength of some of the songs on here and the album as a whole in so many ways.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair analysis on this.
After this has dropped, this year's feeling kind of weak for albums. At first glance, kind of.
I'm almost with you. I've been surprisingly resonating a lot more with EPs this year.
That's about where I'm at.
Agreed. I mean, we just got done talking about like a potential album of the year contender for me, but like just overall, like the number of albums that I would consider like higher caliber just haven't been the same. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping that the second half of the year almost that we're to already, which is crazy.
I'm sure when Sleep Token drops, like
June is gonna pop.
Yeah.
Baby Metal, Hot Milk, Awaken I Am.
Yeah.
I'm not confident in Awaken I Am, and I can't believe I'm the one.
Trust me, I'm the only one here that's heard the closer. It's my favorite single.
That's not even just for the scene. It's like pop and rap too. There's haven't been very many good albums this year. I don't know what it is.
Never Tell is dropping later this year.
That'll be good.
Just wait till Friday.
It's true.
True.